Hello students, myself Amit from Minerva. So today we are going to start our chemistry class of ICSE Class 10, and the chapter that we are going to start is acid, base and salts, right? So today we are going to start the part of acid. So what are acids actually? So actually the acid word came from the Latin term, okay? It came from the Latin term acidus, okay? What does it mean? It means sour. Okay. So something which contains sour taste. Okay. So that thing contains acid in it, right? So we come through a lot of fruits and lot of things in our day-to-day life, like lemon, like orange, and all other many kind of fruits like grapes and all other kind of fruits that we eat contain sour taste. Okay. So accordingly, then acid must be present inside of those fruits. Okay. So acid is something which has a sour taste. According to the taste, if we would like to classify acids, so acids is something which has a sour taste, right? So according to one definition, which is called Arrhenius acid-base theory. Arrhenius acid-base theory. Okay. So what does it says? This theory states that acid is something which gives out H plus ions or H3O plus ions. So what is this H3O plus ion called? It's hydronium ion. Hydronium ion. Okay. So this H plus ion cannot come it cannot come individually. Okay. So it has to combine with water, right? So if you dissolve the acid in water, then this H plus, we have already studied in chemical bonding that due to the formation of coordinate bond H2O. Okay. So H2O has got two lone pair of electrons. We have already studied it in chemical bonding. Okay. So I'm writing the H here. Okay. So it has got two lone pair of electrons and this H plus is vacant. Okay. So if you have not gone through the chemical bonding videos, kindly please see the chemical bonding videos so that you'll better understand this topic. Okay. So due to the presence of this lone pair, it will donate the lone pair to H plus, right? And this kind of bond is known as coordinate bond. And what we will get? H3O plus will be formed. Okay. So H3O plus is known as hydronium ion, and according to this theory, which states that acid is something which releases hydronium ion. Okay. So to release hydronium ion, we need a water medium. Okay, right? So H plus need to be released in aqueous medium. We can also write like this, H plus aqueous. Okay. What does this aqueous means? In presence of water. When acid is made soluble in water, okay, so we are getting H plus in aqueous solution or hydronium ion, right? So this is all about this Arrhenius theory of acid base, which states that acid is something when ionized, it will form hydronium ion. And how hydronium ion will be formed? In presence of water. That means if water is not present, acid will not behave as acid, right? For example, if we take the acid HCl, okay, so it is a gas. Actually HCl is a gas. Okay. So until and unless it is dissolved in water, it will not behave as an acid, because in water only it will dissociate to H plus ions or hydronium ions. Okay. So in presence of water, acid behaves as acid due to the ionization of hydronium ion. Okay. So now what we are going to see is that classification of acids. Okay. So acid can be classified into on the basis of many things. Classification of acids. So what are the parameters that we can consider upon which acid can be classified. The number one is based on origin or based on source. Based on source. So acid can be classified based on the source. Okay, from where it is coming. We have already heard about this term called organic acids. Organic acids. So we have heard this term called organic, right? Organic means something living, right? So the acids which are coming from living organisms, right? So those acids are known as organic acids. Living things like plants or animals or any kind of living things. So the acids which are coming from living organisms, living things, like what are the living things from which the acid comes? Like it can be fruits, it can be do you know that acid is also present in ants? Okay, acid is also present in bees. Okay, so from plants and animals, the acids that are derived are known as organic acids simply. Okay, the second type of acid is called inorganic acids. So what is inorganic acids? Inorganic acids come from non-living sources like rocks, minerals, etc. Okay, non-living sources. So inorganic acid is something which comes from non-living sources. The examples are H2SO4, HNO3, H3PO4. So it can be classified based on the source, one from organic source and one from inorganic source. Organic acids come from living things and inorganic acids come from minerals and non-living things, right? Only there are two examples, exceptions are there. Okay, HCl, which is also present in our stomach, right? So HCl is present in our stomach, and even H3CO3, which is carbonic acid, which is an inorganic acid, is also formed in our body. Okay, carbonic acid. But these are all inorganic acids, right? These are derived from non-living sources. So the second classification of acid is based on the strength of acid. So based on strength. So based on the strength of acid, acid can be classified as strong acids and weak acids. Okay, so what are strong acids? Strong acids is something, for example, if we have taken 100 molecules of acids, okay, 100 molecule of acids. So this, out of this 100 molecule, if 99 molecules get ionized to H3O plus ions. Okay, so almost all the 100 molecules of acids are giving H3O plus ions. Okay, so that time the acids are strong acids. Why they are strong acids? When the acids are completely ionized, almost completely ionized, at that time the acids are strong acids. Okay, so what are weak acids? They are weakly ionized, weakly or partially ionized. Out of the 100 molecules, maybe 15 molecules are getting ionized. Okay, and the rest of the 85 are remaining as the acid molecules, right? So if they are not getting ionized, I mean if they are not forming H3O plus ions, they cannot show their acidic property. Okay, so they have to get ionized to show their acidic property, right? So when the degree of ionization or the extent of ionization is very less, or when it is partially ionized, at that time the acids will be weak acids. So in case of strong acids, the percentage of ionization is higher, but in case of weak acids, the percentage of ionization is less. We are getting less number of H3O plus ions, right? The third category based on which the acid can be classified is based on basicity. Okay, the basicity part we will see later. Based on concentration. Based on concentration, acid can be classified. Okay. So what is that? One is concentrated acid. Concentrated acid, and another one is dilute acid. So what is concentrated acid? Concentrated acid is that acid which contains very negligible amount of water. Okay, so concentrated acid is something which contains very negligible amount of water. Like it is never possible that acid can exist without water. Okay, so some amount of water is needed. So when the amount of water is very negligible, at that time the acid will be very concentrated. Why a small amount of water is also needed? Because in absence of water, if water is not present, then H3O plus ions will be not formed, right? In presence of water, these hydronium ions are formed. Okay, so if water is not present, these ions will not be formed, and accordingly acids cannot behave as acids. Okay, so like if you are taking 98% H2SO4, okay, 98% sulfuric acid, right? The rest of the 2% is water. Okay, so it is mixed with 2% of water, because water is essential to make the acid ionized. Why water is essential? So we'll learn that. Taking an example, we have already studied HCl, right? What is HCl? So this is a polar covalent bond. We have already studied in chemical bonding. So it contains delta negative charge and it contains delta positive charge. Okay, so there is a formation of dipole, right? And when this HCl is dissolved in water, okay, even water is also a dipole, right? Upon H there will be delta positive and upon O there will be delta negative. So what it will do, this delta positive will attract this delta negative, and this delta negative will attract this delta positive. Okay, so what this water will do, it will help to separate both these ions, H plus and Cl minus. So what this water will do, I mean water is a solvent here. Okay, so what this water will do, it will separate both these ions. Okay, so actually water is helping to dissociate HCl. So HCl will be dissociated into H plus Cl minus. Okay, but water is already present in the medium. So what water will do? Water will form coordinate bonding. Okay, and due to coordinate bonding, we will get H3O plus ions, right? So this is the dissociation of acid in presence of water. So some amount of water is needed to dissociate the acids. So the strong acid is something, the concentrated acid is something where very negligible amount of water is present, right? So concentrated acid is something which contains very negligible amount of water is present, right? And what is dilute acid? In dilute acid, there is not negligible, the appreciable amount of water. Appreciable amount of water is present. Okay, so in dilute acid a large number of water will be present. Okay, so for example H2SO4, the mass of H2SO4 is yours 32 plus 64 plus 2, 98 gram. Okay, 98 gram. So if we add water above this 98 gram, so that condition will be called a diluted condition. Okay, so that will be a diluted acid. Means when water is present in a large amount in an acid, the acid gets diluted. Okay, so we call it a dilute acid, right? And one more thing, the question comes from this place also, how do we dilute acid? Okay, so how do we dilute an acid? How can we dilute acid? Okay, so how can we do? We can take 100% acid you have taken. Okay, but there is no water. Okay, so if you are adding water, okay, so you have to add water in the, we have two procedures. Okay, so either you have to add water in acid or you have to add acid in water. Okay, so this is water in acid, and another way is acid in water. So this is water and acid is getting added, right? This is water. Okay, so this procedure cannot be followed because this reaction is exothermic reaction and a lot of heat will be produced. Okay, so a major accident can happen. Okay, it can flash out in your mouth while preparing this type of solution. Okay, so you have to be very careful in laboratory to handle this kind of situation, right? And we have to know how to do that. Otherwise, if we don't take the required precautions, then it will be very harmful for us. Okay, so we cannot do this, but we have to follow this procedure. Acid should be added in water. Okay, but not all the acids in one moment. We cannot add all the acids in a single moment. We cannot do that. Okay, so slightly we have to add drop wise. So we have to add drop wise. We have to add acids drop wise, because when you are adding acid drop wise, it is an exothermic reaction. So when you are adding acid drop wise, gradually the energy will be released. Okay, so that will be a gradual process. But when you add this acid at one time, you are adding all the acids in a one time, so a huge amount of energy will be released. Okay, in that case there will be a major accident. This solution can flash out to your mouth and it can cause a major accident. So we have to take care while diluting an acid. Okay, so we have to add acid in water and we have to do it in a drop wise manner, and continuously we have to stir the solution with glass rod, so that the drop that is getting added, that drops need to get spread out. Okay, so it will not form concentration, it will not be concentrated in one area. Okay, so it needs to be, the heat produced need to be distributed in the whole solution, so that the distribution of heat will be uniform and there will be no accident in the laboratory, right? So this is a very important question. So our next discussion is based on basicity. So what is actually basicity? So acid can be classified depending upon the basicity. So what is basicity? Basicity is number of H plus ions released by an acid molecule in aqueous solution. Okay, so what is basicity? Simply, it is the number of H plus ions released by an acid molecule in an aqueous solutions. Okay. So if you take the formula of H2SO4, so how many water, how many H plus it will give? It will give 2 H plus. It will give 2 H plus ions in aqueous solution. So the basicity will be 2, right? Okay. If a acid, for example HCl, it has only 1 H plus ion, so it will give 1 H plus and the basicity will be 1. Okay, there are some acids which are, so this is a dibasic acid. Dibasic acid. This is monobasic acids, right? Some acids are there which are tribasic acids. Okay, so how we will do that? For example, we'll take the example of 2 acids. One is phosphorus acid H3PO3 and one is phosphoric acid PO4. This is phosphorus acid and this is phosphoric acid. So one is phosphorus acid and another is phosphoric acid, right? So from the formula we are seeing that there are 3 H present. So you can simply conclude that both are tribasic acid. This is also tribasic and this is also tribasic. Okay, we can conclude that by simply seeing the formula, but actually this is wrong. This is not tribasic. This is dibasic acid. So this is also important part. Okay, so why it is a dibasic acid? We have to look at the structure of the acid. Without looking at the structure, we cannot conclude simply by seeing on the formula. Okay, so if we draw, so there is a rule in drawing the structure of phosphoric acids. So phosphorus is pentavalent, so there will be 5 bonds. Okay, and the second condition is there will be 1 double bond O in acids containing phosphorus. Okay, so there will be 1 double bond O. Okay, so 1 O is already yours gone. Okay, so 2 another O are present, so 5 bonds will be there, right? Because phosphorus is pentavalent, so 5 bond will be there and 2 O's are left. Okay, so 1 H will come with this O and another H will come with this O and other H will be here, right? What will be the structure of phosphoric acid? It will be like this. It will be like this. Okay, so this is a dibasic acid. Why this is a dibasic acid? Because it will give only 2 H plus ions. So why it will give 2 H plus ions? There are 3 H's are present, but why it is giving 2 H plus ions? Because here oxygen is very much electronegative. Okay, so oxygen, the ease of taking this pair of electrons, I already told you in chemical bonding, in polar covalent bonds, what happens? The electronegative, the more electronegative element will tend to take away the electron pair towards itself. Okay, so it will withdraw this electron pair towards itself and it will become very easy for this 2H to get released as H plus, right? But this H cannot be released because it is not attached with oxygen. Okay, so this 2H's are ionized H plus, ionizable H plus, but this H is non-ionizable H, right? So it cannot be ionized. So the basicity of an acid depends upon which H is getting ionized. Okay, so it will depend on the ionization H plus, ionizable H plus. Okay, so the basicity will be 2, and here this H is attached to 3 oxygen. This H is attached to 3 oxygen. Okay, 3 oxygen. So the basicity will be 3 because it is attached to 3 oxygen. So we have 3 ionizable H plus will be there. Okay, so finally we will discuss acid is classified on the basis of atoms present, based on atoms present, or elements you can say. Acha, atoms present. Okay, based on atoms present. The first one is oxyacids and the second one is hydroacids. Okay, so what are oxyacids? Oxyacid something, acid is something which will always contain H plus. Okay, so H will be present, oxygen will be present. Okay, and another element will be present. It can be sulfur, it can be phosphorus, it can be nitrogen, any kind of things. Okay, so oxyacids is something which contains H, O and either of these elements. Okay, and what are hydroacids? H will be present but oxygen will not be present, no oxygen, and another element will be present but another element will be present. Okay, so for example, if we take the example of oxyacids, we already see no H3PO3, phosphorus acid is an oxyacid. Okay, phosphoric acid is also an oxyacid because phosphorus is present, O is present and H is present. Okay, H2SO4, it is also an oxyacid. Okay, but hydroacids are HCl, HBr, HI. These are all hydroacids. If we compare between the strength of HCl and HI, HI will be more stronger. Why? Because this HI bond is very long. Okay, and this HCl bond is very short. So we know that short bond are stronger because the elements are close together, right? So it is very difficult to separate them, but they are far apart from each other. So a small amount of energy is like small amount of energy can break this bond. Okay, so the release of H plus will be easy. So HI will be stronger than HCl, right? So this is all about yours, the classification of acid based on certain parameters. Finally, I'll give you one problem is like you have to do what is the calculate the basicity of H2SO4 and H2SO4 and H2SO3. Sulfurous acid, this is sulfurous acid and this is sulfuric acid. So this is your homework. Basicity, calculate basicity. Okay, so this will be your homework from this part. Okay, so now we will discuss the physical and chemical properties of acid, right? So students, now we will discuss the preparation of acids, right? We already know that what are acids and how we can distinguish between different kind of acids, how we can classify between acids. Now we'll see how we can prepare it in the laboratory. So it's very interesting to know that how we can prepare acids in laboratory, right? So we will learn certain methods which is like useful to prepare acids in laboratory and which is also known to us. The first method is synthetic method. Synthetic method, okay, which is also known as combination reaction. We already studied it in class 8. Combination reaction. So what is that combination reaction? Two species will combine to form a single product, right? So synthesis reaction is like the same as that of the combination reaction. So what will happen? H2, which is gas, Cl2, which is also a gas, both of this will react to form HCl, right? HCl will be formed. So this is a type of your combination reaction. Combination reaction. So acids can be prepared by combination reaction. The second method is yours when acidic oxides. So what are acidic oxides? When acidic oxides are dissolved in water, okay, dissolved in water, right? So when acidic oxides are dissolved in water, we get acids. So what are acidic oxides? Acidic oxides are actually non-metallic oxides. Okay. So let us refresh our memory what we have learned earlier in earlier classes. So non-metallic oxides are acidic oxides and metallic oxides are basic oxides. So here we are talking about acidic oxides. So non-metallic oxides like CO2, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, NO2, these are all non-metallic oxides. Okay, so these are called acidic oxides, right? Acidic oxides. We already know about acid rain. So these oxides or gases are present in the atmosphere. Okay, so when there is raining, okay, so the water combines with this acidic oxides and fall as acid rains, right? So if CO2 combines with water, it will give carbonic acid. That is the main cause of acid rain, right? So if SO2 combines with water, what it will give? Sulfurous acid, right? When SO3 combines with water, it will give sulfuric acid. When NO2 combines with water, it will give HNO3. Okay, it will give HNO3. So this kind of oxides combines with water to form acids. Okay, so there is an interesting thing to know that suppose in a reaction where HCO2 is evolved. Okay, suppose in a reaction where CO2 is evolved. So CO2 is an acidic oxide. It's an acidic oxide. Okay, this part we'll see later, right? So let us first complete this preparation of acids, then we'll see this part. Okay. So there is a third method of preparing acids, which is by oxidation with the use of another acids. Okay. So the third method is oxidation of a non-metal by another acid. Okay, so HNO3 is an acid, okay, but it is also a very strong oxidizing agent. So what is oxidizing agent? We already know that helps in oxidation, okay, that helps to oxidize another species or another molecule. Okay, so it behaves as an oxidizing agent. So what is the reaction here? HNO3 will combine with sulfur and we will get H2SO4 plus water plus NO2, which is a gas. Okay, so now HNO3 is an acid also as an oxidizing agent. Okay, so this HNO3 is oxidizing this S to H2SO4 because O is added, right? So this is oxidation, but it itself getting reduced to NO2 because there are 3 O here but 1 O is removed. So this is reduction, removal of oxygen, right? So this is a oxidation reduction reaction where HNO3 is oxidizing sulfur to sulfuric acid. Another thing is that this NO2 is a reddish brown gas. So how can you identify the reaction is taking place? You will see that in the test tube, reddish brown fumes are getting evolved. Okay, so it is also very interesting to see that colorful gases are getting evolved. Okay, so NO2 is getting evolved from the reaction which is a reddish brown gas. Okay. Now we'll see the fourth method of preparation, that is double displacement reaction. So by double displacement reaction, acid can be prepared, right? So if you take a salt, suppose NaCl you have taken, okay, plus H2SO4, what will happen? So two ions are present here, Na plus and Cl minus, okay, and here also two ions are present here, H plus and SO4 2 minus, okay. So the double displacement reaction is that two ions will change their places, right? So SO4 will combine with Na and H will combine with Cl, okay. So two ions will change their places. So what we will get? HCl plus Na2SO4. So we got another acid, right? So this can be used to prepare HCl, okay. So one acid is used to prepare another acid in double displacement reaction, right? Very easy, we already know all this kind of reactions, only we are like brushing our memory with this all these discussions, right? Okay, so now we'll see what are the physical properties of acids. Okay, so what are the physical properties of acids? First of all, we'll discuss acid is sour in taste, that we already learned, right? So acid is sour in taste, okay. Second is acids are electrolytes which can conduct electricity. So acid are electrolytes. So what are electrolytes? Electrolytes are those things in the presence of a solvent, it will dissociate into positive and negative ions, okay. So in the presence of solvent, a electrolyte will get dissociated into positive and negative ions. We already discussed that in an acid, for example HCl. In presence of water, it will get dissociated to H3O plus ions plus Cl minus ions, right? So acid, we can call acid as an electrolyte because we are giving it when we are dissolving this acid in a solvent, okay. So it will get dissociated into ions, okay. So now we have solution, right? We have given this acid in a solvent of H2O and now we have the solution. What kind of solution is this? Aqueous solution, okay. So in aqueous solution, these ions are dissociated. So these ions are free to move. In the solution. They are free to move in the solution, okay. So because they are free to move in the solution, they are responsible for conduction of electricity. Responsible for conduction electricity. So acids are electrolytes which when dissolved in water or any other kind of solvent where it is soluble, okay, it will get dissociated into ions, and due to the movement of these free ions, that solution will conduct electricity, okay. So this is a good property of acid, right? Okay, so the third physical property is acids are corrosive in nature. Corrosive in nature. They are corrosive in nature, okay. If some strong acids strong acids, or you can say concentrated acid, concentrated strong acids. If it falls in your skin will burn. Why? Because in acids H plus is present, and H plus is deficient of electron. Okay, H plus has a vacancy inside it, right? So what it will do when it falls in your skin, it will withdraw water from your skin. Like acids are dehydrates. It dehydrates your skin. Okay, so when it dehydrates, it will burn your skin, right? So acids are very harmful. Like it's very corrosive in nature and it's very harmful. So we have to be very careful to handle these strong acids, concentrated strong acids. But weak acids are not that harmful, because weak acids we eat, right? We eat fruits and many kind of organic acids through the sources of nature. So through our food and many kind of things. Okay, so it's not that harmful. We have also eaten H3CO3, carbonic acid, which is present in soft drinks. Okay, present in soft drinks, which is also not harmful. Okay, because we can have it through soft drinks. Okay, it is dissolved in the water of soft drinks, and which is responsible for that taste of that soft drink. Okay, so if you open the soft drink bottle for long time, what will happen? How this carbonic acid is formed? CO2 is a non-metallic oxide. It combines with water. So CO2 gas is dissolved in the water present in the soft drinks, and we are getting H3CO3. So when you open the bottle of a soft drink and keep it open for a long time, what happens? That H2, that dissolved H2 get evolved out of that soft drink bottle, and the taste becomes tasteless. Not tasteless, the taste the initial taste was not there, right? So that's why if you keep the soft drinks bottle for long time, it will lose its taste. Okay, because CO2 is getting evolved. It will get evolved out from that solution. So the last physical property of acid is 4. Acids exist in different states. So acid can exist in solid state, like H3BO3, boric acid, okay, which is found in solid state. It is found in solid state in packets. Okay. It can also be found in liquid states. Like we know, HCl aqueous is a liquid acid. H2SO4, we get it in liquid state, right? So acids can be found in solid state also. It can be found in liquid state also, right? So today what we have studied? We have studied the definition of acid, the classification of acid based on many parameters, and finally we studied the preparation method of acid, the laboratory preparation, and the physical properties of acid. So in the next class we will do the chemical properties. Okay, the chemical properties of acids, and we'll enter the bases also. We'll do the base portion also. Okay, so we'll do this portion in the next class, right? Thank you.